Hello, I'm Chris and welcome to the Fragrant Divide. In this video, I'll be sharing my thoughts on Santa Maria Novella's Rosa Gardenia. Santa Maria Novella seems to be gaining more and more attention in the recent years, especially in social media. But their origins date back over 800 years ago in the year 1221 in Florence, Italy. On the premises of a small church, Dominican friars cultivated a garden of herbs and plants meant for medicines, ointments, and balms. Through a series of historic events, their apothecary and pharmacy became more and more known, open to the public, eventually changing hands, and has become a tourist destination shop and museum. So Santa Maria Novella is steeped in history and tradition, which is a nice way of saying that it's old, centuries old. And that age is very much reflected on their perfumes, specifically their Firenze 1221 Discovery set of eau de colognes, which includes Rosa Gardenia. Let's get this out of the way. Rosa Gardenia smells old, motherly, grandmotherly, auntie, matronly, old-fashioned, old world, old school, vintage. I can't think of any more terms, but you get the Golden Girls picture. Thank you for being a friend. Before we get to the review, I just want to highlight the packaging and bottle design. This is a 50 ml and costs $100 at the moment. It comes in a simple box, almost like a box of soap actually. Simple, rounded square bottle, sticker label on the front, embossed brand emblem on the back, an engraved emblem on the cap, and some additional info on the bottom sticker. This has got to be one of the most elegant bottle designs I've seen, at least this 50 ml. You may have noticed that it's quite the social media aesthetics darling. God, I hate how social media has abused that word. Rosa Gardenia has top notes of bergamot, almond blossom, and orange blossom. Middle notes of gardenia, centifolia rose, fig leaf, and jasmine. And base notes of sandalwood, vanilla, and musk. This is undoubtedly a white floral, which dominates the opening. It starts like a soapy, musky white floral with a hint of indole. And to me, that's the recurring theme until the dry down, this play on light and dark, which is a hallmark of a good white floral perfume. I don't know what almond blossom smells like, and it does not explicitly smell of orange blossom, so I'm going to attribute most of the white floral qualities to the gardenia accord. After that initial hit, it is immediately followed by a dark, fruity, almost jammy rose with a faint dark berry undertone. And this reinforces that darkness that I've mentioned earlier. Also, I wouldn't rule out the possibility that there's cashmeran in here. It does have that dark purple feel about it. Once the scent of that rose mixes with the musky, soapy white floral, that's really the point where you get that vintage old-fashioned vibe. This fragrance feels very dry and feels quite like a patchy, chunky musk as opposed to a fine powder. And all of that pretty much continues all the way to the deep dry down, especially that rose note. The base notes of sandalwood and vanilla really only come into play mostly on skin. Somewhere near the early dry down, they dominate over the white floral and the rose, even to a point where it actually reminded me of Tobacco Toscano from the same Eau de Cologne collection. They do eventually level out, and the florals become more prominent again. Though Rosa Gardenia comes in eau de cologne concentration, there is a certain intensity to it up close, especially for the first hour. Based on 3 sprays, it does have soft projection around this time, but it's pretty close to the body around the 3-hour mark. It's still detectable on clothes at the 9-hour mark. On skin, you get that sandalwood and vanilla base notes around the 1.5-hour mark and still faintly present around 6 hours. If you are looking for a gardenia-centric perfume, this might not be it, as I do think this is more vintage rose than gardenia. Comparing it to Penhaligon's Gardenia, which is a dewy green sweet floral, Rosa Gardenia is much drier and rose-heavy. While Gardenia Petal by Van Cleef and Arpels seems to be closer in style due to the white floral, soapy, and indolic aspects, it's still dewier and fresher feeling. We can also compare it to Nicolai Parfum's Musk Intense, as they do share a vintage feeling rose, but Musk Intense is much more makeup-y in execution, slightly powdery, and has a slightly syrupy feel to the rose than the drier feel of Rosa Gardenia. Overall, Rosa Gardenia, despite being mature and old-fashioned, feels timeless, elegant, and a welcome break from all of the modern mediocrity that we're getting bombarded with these days. It's floral and feminine, which as a man I don't mind. It feels proper while still feeling more casual compared to other vintage smelling perfumes. Like it feels more polo shirt than dress shirt with a tie. I very much enjoy it both during the day and as a bedtime scent, and I think it can be worn in any season. So that was my review. I'm still exploring the house of Santa Maria Novella, so if you have tried something worth sampling from this brand, please let me know down in the comments, especially if it's not part of the Firenze 1221 Discovery set. I hope that was informative in some way. Please consider liking the video and or subscribing. And thank you for watching.